So hello and welcome to this week's angling vlog. This week you join me back on the banks of the River Ribble and we're in search of dace on the stick float. So you do join me on an area of the river that 9 times out of 10 I do walk past in winter, but today there was a few fish topping, and for a bit of a change we thought, why not, let's give it a fish and see what we can catch. It's a beautiful morning on the bank, so mild for this time of year. It's 14 degrees or something today. You can see behind me blue skies. There is a bit of a wind on the venue, so I do apologise if that comes out on the video, but today I'm just hoping to get 1 or 2 bites on the stick float. So the beauty of river fishing is every day is a new adventure, and today most definitely is one of them on a new area. So let's waste no time at all. Let's have a look at the peg and how we're going to approach. The peg I've chose to set up on, it's got a lovely glide. You can see here there's a bit of pace to it, which I don't mind. And then, yeah, doesn't that look a bit autumnal now? It's starting to get there, isn't it? Just got the glow of the sun. A beautiful morning to be on the bank. But you can see here, it's got a lovely pace. So we're going to be quite fast fishing, but the beauty of that is the fish haven't got long to make a decision, and when the float goes under, you know it's a bite. Looking at the side tray, nice and simple. Got a couple of pints of Hinder's hemp. We've got a couple of pints of white maggots from the local tackle shop, which is, for me, is Widnes Angling Centre. But quickly covering the setup today, I'm actually using my 13-foot Korum Glide. I've teamed that up with a switch reel with 5-pound line. I've got one of the new Korum fineliner floats. You can see there I've got a bulk of number 4 Dinsmore shot, and that's down to a 2-pound 1-ounce hook link and a size 18 hook. Now this rod is a new rod that I have picked up. Now I have got a 12 to 14 foot version, so you might think, well, why have I picked up a 13? Well, this rod splits evenly down into 3 sections, so I can store it away, leave it set up, and this morning I'm on the bank. I'm literally fishing in no time. Now we're on the peg, have a look at the swim. It has got a number of options. You could do anything on this peg. You could fish a feeder right over. You can fish the stick float underneath our feet, like we're going to do today. Or you could go waggler down the middle. You've got loads of options to go today. What we're going to do is we're going to start literally here, putting maggots in. It's a lovely trot. Put the hemp about here, and then we've got a nice little run downstream where my uncle and Gary from Gary Williams Fishing are down there. So yeah, we've got plenty of options today. If it all goes to plan today, it should be some nice easy fishing really off the rod tip, hopefully. It's going to feed me maggots there. Like I said, the hemp downstream over a bit of an area, so it gives you the option just to go out a little bit. I'm expecting it to take maybe a bit of time to get a bite today, because the fish were spread out quite a bit this morning when we arrived. And you can see you're right behind your float. It's a lovely trot. I think we just missed the bite actually on the first trot, which is a good sign. So I'm going to be really positive today with my feeding. You know, try to attract a few fish in and try and get them fish into your area to begin with. Like I always say, with big rivers, split them down into lanes. So you've got the slow lane, the middle lane and the fast lane. Today, most definitely we're fishing that inside lane to begin with. I'm going to concentrate on this, and hopefully if I work at it, we can get a few bites and we don't have to then go looking for other areas of the river. But early signs are it is quite a nice trot down this inside line. There we go, there's the first fish of the day, and that's coming right where I'd expect the maggots and the hemp to be hitting the bottom together. The first fish is a roach, which is good to see. You know, you're always looking to get that early bite. That fish isn't cold at all. You know, normally this time of year them fish are ice cold. And so it is a lovely trot. It's pacey, like you've seen there. As soon as that float goes under, it's a bite. There we go. It's the very next trot down. We've got another one. So good start to the session. As I say at the start, it's just all about getting bites at the start. And that's another roach. So I'm feeding over a bit of an area because we have got tides today, so the river level is going to fluctuate quite a bit. So if I feed just a bit further out as well, I can almost follow the fish out. But it also gives you the chance of 2 bites of the cherry. If you go a bit further out, miss a bite, you're in line then with another line as well, but in the same area. So you get, like there, I've missed a bite and the float's settling again now on that little bit closer in line. You don't have to come back in then. There you go, you can see there exactly how that worked. It was a good example. You can see there how we missed the bite on that little bit further out line, and then when it's come in, it's settled and we've got another one of those roach. So that really did work well then, just showing how, you know, you can feed that inside line and a bit further out, miss a bite, and then you get a roach like that on the inside. As starts the recession go, it's going well. So now it's just about keeping attracting fish in and trying to keep the ones that are there in your swim and feeding. It's going to be nice and positive, you know, attract fish in. There's obviously one or two about. Just holding back over that hemp. See, it is beautiful with no wind on it at the moment. You just hold back and dot that float right down. There we go. Feels like a slightly better one actually. Certainly the best one of the day. And if Mr. Pike's about, it'll be the one he'll have. And what a lovely roach that is. Just makes all the effort worthwhile as setting up. Trusting your gut instinct, and what an excellent start to the session. It's a lovely roach. Hopefully there's more of them about. We can have a good day's fishing. So a nice start to the session. In one or two bites. I say enjoying this early bit. Well, that sun's just coming up. Saturday morning after the week in work. No place I'd rather be than on the River Ribble, getting a few bites on the stick float. One thing that is a bit of quality to these fish, most definitely. On that brook last week when it was a bit shallower, you know, we were getting smaller fish and some chublets. But yeah, these are what the River Ribble's all about. Roach and dace and that slightly better stamp. Don't get me wrong, there's huge roach and dace in the River Ribble, but it's just good to be getting a bend in the rod and a few bites. You can see there getting plenty of bites, and this looks like the first dace. Being positive with that hemp, because that is the bait that's going to keep them down there. You know, that's where you want the fish to stay, and that's why we feed hemp, just as a marker, just to say that's where you want to get your bites really. You can see there, right where we put that hemp. Definitely one or two fish about, which is great to see. So lovely blue skies, bend in the rod, another one of those lovely roach. So the session fishing wise is going really well. I had a bit of a problem with the GoPro, it doesn't look like it's fully charged overnight. It's another one of those better quality roach. It's great to see these about, it really is. And by far the best fish of the day so far. Come upstream. Clue what it is. It's Mr. Trout, I think. Followed us again. And we won't bother picking him up for the camera. He's a bit lively, but what lovely colours. Must admit, my heart did go. I did think it was a big roach to begin with. We've just got these fish now, just coming off this rod tip on that inside line. And that can be a godsend sometimes when you get a downstream wind that's just appeared like this. You can see it's right on the line we were going down. So being able to just go underneath your feet for a bit, you know, and get them bites can help you out a great deal. And then dace do seem to be coming now in the swim. You're getting roach and dace now, and of course Mr. Trout. And at the moment it really is a bite a chuck. Every trot down we're getting a bite. And that's what it's all about really. Just got to keep the bites coming, keep feeding, keep putting that hemp and maggot in, just trying to keep them bites coming. That is what I come to River Ribble for, those proper dace. Normally later on in the year when they start shoaling up, but that's what you would call getting on for the proper one. So at the moment, it's absolutely exceptional fishing. These are just coming right off the rod tip, just down there, and it is literally a bite of chuck. All sizes, but the average stamp is really good. And you say the simplest of setups, got a float, bulk shot, a hook, just keeping that bait going in. Mid-November, a dace in that condition now is going to be a serious fish come February when it's got spawn in it. That is a clonking fish for November, plump and a proper dace. And every so often you just strike into a better fish and you just pray it's not a trout. And if it's not a trout, you know it's a decent one. So we just had that nice dace, and it's a roach. It's a lovely roach. I'm going to put the camera down and I'm going to get the net and land it. And that is a proper roach. And if there wasn't such muddy banks, I'd get the tripod out and take a picture with it. Right now, having some exceptional fishing, and today's an example of why every winter I come up to this amazing river. You know, it's mild, plenty of fish, and you never really know what your next bite's going to be. Look at the lovely colours on that. That is why I love the rivers, so vibrant. And yeah, a lovely perch that's just coming down the inside line, and no doubt he's hunting those little roach we were getting at the start. So the swim had gone a bit quiet and we have been getting that horrible downstream wind, but the bites had dried up a little bit, and beginning to wonder if that early flourish had worn off, and then all of a sudden maybe there's a few of them bigger perch about. One thing that has been in the net today is quality. Just getting that presentation right, you are always rewarded with that better quality fish. And this one's just holding in the swim, and you never really know whether it's a trout, one of those perch, or one of those nice roach or dace that we've had today. Just wait for it to come up, and it's one of those big perch, and that is a much better one. So been plenty of quality today in them nets. That's a lovely perch, that. It's a proper river perch. And great fight on that rod. That's why I like that glide so much. You can catch the little dace, but you've got the power when you hit something a bit better. That's a lovely perch, that. And the very next fish, just emphasising that quality that's been about today. And the best part about a tide is when it turns and begins to run off, the river picks up pace and you get a really nice trot out the swim. This is probably the second or third nice roach that I've caught, just going off the rod tip, just down this inside line. Been a few of these fish today, and so as that tide turns, I expect maybe one or two more. So the session does come to an end there now, and what an enjoyable day on the bank it's been. As you can see on screen now, both myself, my uncle and Gary have all had a good day's fishing with some healthy net. What a day's fishing that's been. You know, considering we've not had them frosts yet that are really going to condense those quality fish up, it's been an enjoyable day's fishing and bodes well for the winter ahead. I really do hope you have enjoyed this week's vlog. It'd be great if you could like and subscribe to the channel if you have. Tight lines in your own fishing, and I'll catch us all next week. Tight lines.